be the cleanest, who will be the fastest, who will be the best to finish this 2023 NTT IndyCar season off. This is the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey, and already several cars out of their respective columns, like Colton Herta. Herta was way out wide, trying to grab positions at the line.
Hello IndyCar fans, welcome to Formula Pun Racer, the channel where car racing and comedy collide. And I gotta say, after being kept busy for so long, today I give you my review on the IndyCar season finale at Laguna Seca Raceway in California. And by God, it was a race full of twists and turns like the infamous Corkscrew. And let's begin with how it all started, shall we? The IndyCar season finale started with Felix Rosenqvist of Sweden on pole in his Arrow McLaren Chevy and Scott McLaughlin of New Zealand in his Penske Chevy starting second. Unfortunately, on the first corner of the first lap, a chain reaction crash would be triggered by Christian Lundgaard of Denmark when he pitted into both Penskes of McLaughlin and Newgarden. Marcus Armstrong accidentally ended up bumping Graham Rahal into his own teammate Yuri Vips of Estonia. Through the hullabaloo, Marcus was able to tiptoe through it all. To add insult to injury to this melee was Callum Ilott rear-ending Kyle Kirkwood. The race restarted on lap 6 with Felix Rosenqvist still leading and Spaniard Alex Palou in second place. Palou eventually forced his way into the lead the following lap. On lap 8, Joseph Newgarden's day went from bad to worse when he lost control and would hit the tire barrier. The green flag would restart the race on lap 11 and Palou would continue to lead. Helio Castroneves decided to make sandcastles in two different spots in the span of a few corners when his car lost control, almost colliding with Palou on lap 26.
Where's Marcus?
Lap 29 would go from sweet to sour for both Swedes, Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenqvist, when Marcus spun his countryman around. Felix tried to continue on, but his left rear tire was damaged from the contact and Felix spun off into the gravel trap. Marcus was able to continue on with a penalty, but more karma came his way when he pit on lap 33 and his engine stalled. No doubt about it. As sad as this was for Marcus, I hate to think how he and Felix would have to go at each other's throats for this. The race was about to restart on lap 36, but since yellows breed yellows, Castroneves, Ilott, and Peterson all tangled in the final corner. It was Penske driver Will Power who started it by rear-ending Peterson. At the same time, Power's teammate Scott McLaughlin bumped Santino Ferrucci off the track, but Santino was able to keep going with no damage. However, Scott was not so lucky as his front wing was broken. He and his teammate were penalized for the contact. No doubt about it, for us anti-Penske fans, we can smile to know the team got burned. Burn! Yeah, pretty exciting for us anti-Penske fans, knowing that the Penske was not mightier than the sword in this round. And the Ganassi team was still the strongest hold, with Alex Palou still leading when the race restarted on lap 41. In fact, the restart would be a 1-2-3 Hispanic one, with Alex Palou of Spain starting first, Patricio Ward of Mexico with Arrow McLaren starting second, and Agustin Canapino of Argentina with Juncos Honda racing in third during this restart. Ay caramba! On lap 57, Palou was still leading, but the next caution would come out when Devlin DeFrancesco of Canada at Andretti Autosport unfortunately lost control and tangled with David Malukas at Dale Coyne Racing. Pretty tough luck for the young Canadian who has no ride for next year. And he was as high as 5th in this race, but once again, fate had other plans for the young man, eh?
It stinks!
Considering the rear-ending Kirkwood got by Callum Ilott on the first lap, their paths would cross again on lap 61. Callum lost control of his car in the pit lane, got sideways, and would end up blocking Kirkwood's way. Aside from costing Kyle and others behind him precious time, hopefully there were no hard feelings between Kyle and Callum.
I hope you're right.
The following lap was supposed to be the restart, but it was kept under caution when Tom Blomqvist of Meyershank Racing collided with Devlin DeFrancesco on the final corner. At the same time, Santino Ferrucci slammed into the rear of Alex Palou. Amazingly, Palou was able to continue on. Considering this race had been quite a dusty demolition derby and that cautions breed more caution periods, it would happen again on lap 66. Coming around the final corner, Peterson slightly bumped Marcus Armstrong around into a spin. At that same moment, Colton Herta, with nowhere to go, rear-ended Peterson, which sent him right into the path of his fellow countryman Christian Lundgaard. As a result of Armstrong spun around, his Swedish teammate Marcus Ericsson had nowhere to go but to slightly tap the Kiwi's side pod.
Major fender bender.
Yep, Sonic, quite the fender bender indeed for the two Danes and the two Marcuses in this race. When all was said and done, Marcus Armstrong would finish in 8th though, and Marcus Ericsson finished a lap down in 15th. With 23 laps to go, the race restarted with Pato O'Ward of Arrow McLaren in the lead, but right away on the front stretch it would be a drag race between him and Romain Grosjean of Andretti Autosport, who would eventually take the lead over from Pato O'Ward. With this year marking the 25th anniversary of Brian Herta's maiden IndyCar win at Laguna Seca Raceway, you can imagine Colton Herta had a similar paint job to Brian's winning car back in 1998 for this race, hoping to add to it and celebrate his father's 25th anniversary of his maiden win with a win at Laguna Seca, which Colton achieved once before in 2021. Unfortunately, Laguna Seca was about to take another prisoner in Colton Herta, as the final caution would be, because as he was going through the corners, well, Helio Castroneves, who was right behind him, lost control and had no choice but to rear-end Colton Herta into the gravel trap, ending Colton's run, and that definitely hurt a lot, bringing out the final caution of the race. This final caution would be proving big dividends for Scott Dixon's PNC Bank Honda, because Romain Grosjean, who was in the lead at this point, had to make a final pit stop during this caution. Still, this was advantageous for Scott Dixon, who had inherited the lead, and when the green flag came out for the last time, it would be an 18-lap sprint to the finish. And it all started with Scott Dixon in the lead, and Scott McLaughlin of New Zealand, of Team Penske in second, Scott Kiwi 1-2 for that matter. Callum Ilott was in third. When all was said and done, it was a neck-and-neck battle between the two Scots from New Zealand, just going to show that in racing, at least in Indy cars, this form of racing is anything but scot-free. Throughout that 18-lap sprint, McLaughlin was definitely hot on Scott Dixon's heels, but when all was said and done, the more experienced Scott Dixon of Chip Ganassi Racing took his third IndyCar win of the season, and Scott McLaughlin finished second. Another Kiwi, and Scott 1-2. Congratulations, Scott Dixon, for that. Dixon's teammate Alex Palou of Spain finished third. Callum Ilott finished fifth, while Will Power of Team Penske finished fourth. It's a shame about Callum, because this is his final race with Juncos Hollinger Racing, and he is the team have parted ways. As of this moment, I don't know if he will get a ride next year, but it turns out that he will be replaced by Romain Grosjean alongside Agustin Canapino at Juncos Hollinger Racing, so that ought to be good. And as I may have said in a previous video, Alex Palou is destined to stay at Chip Ganassi Racing, even though there's still some messy controversy between him and Arrow McLaren Racing, so this is going to be tough. But at least for all you Alex Palou fans who like to see him stay at Chip Ganassi, just like me, you got your wish. Oh! Once again, I'd like to say congratulations, Scott Dixon, for winning your third race this season. Nothing greater than taking your victories to the PNC Bank and to cash them. Well, that concludes this video review of the IndyCar season finale at Laguna Seca. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please share, like, and subscribe to Formula Pun Racer, and comment as well. I read all your comments. And be sure to tune in for more videos in the future for IndyCar and Formula One racing news with a twist of humor to it. After all, that's why this channel is where car racing and comedy collide. Congratulations, Alex Palou, for winning the championship as well. Will 2024 be as exciting as this year? Tune in to find out. And before the season starts, I will be sure to bring you news on who's driving for which team. But for now, enjoy the downtime as we wait for next season, 2024 in March at St. Petersburg, Florida, which will be the first round of the 2024 IndyCar season. See you next year, IndyCar fans. I am Aaron Cylinder, firing on all cylinders.